I've spent the last few weeks comparing the Apple Vision Pro to the Meta Quest 3, and I found 3 things it does better than the Quest 3, and 2 things it does worse. Let's get into it. Let's get one thing out of the way. The Vision Pro is expensive. This model, with its 1TB storage, is nearly $4,000. On the other hand, my Meta Quest 3 is just under $800 for the larger 512GB model and the optional Elite strap. Depending on what you buy, the Vision Pro costs 7 times as much as the Meta Quest 3. Is it worth that price? Well, that would be a full review, and I'm going to release one of those later. So make sure you subscribe to the channel to see the full review when it's out. But I have found it's definitely better than Meta Quest 3 at some things, and worse than others. Let's start with pass-through realism. Both the Vision Pro and the Meta Quest 3 offer color pass-through that lets you see the world around you and thus gives you an augmented reality view. And when it comes to convincing your eyes that what you see is the real world, the Vision Pro is far better than the Meta Quest 3. The Meta Quest 3 improved on the Meta Quest 2 by adding color cameras, but when you look at the world, everything is constantly distorted, especially as you pan. It's a frequent reminder that you're looking through cameras and not with your real eyes. The Vision Pro, however, doesn't have that same level of distortion. Oh, it's there if you stare hard, but that's just the thing. You have to stare hard to find it. The one area that the Meta Quest does do better at is giving a more vibrant version of the world. The Vision Pro's view is washed out in comparison, but I'll take that if it means seeing the world and not feeling like I'm drunk like you get with the Meta Quest 3. And while the Meta Quest 3's pass-through colors are more vibrant, when it comes to everything else in display tech, the Vision Pro puts the Quest to shame. And that is down to these displays in the eyes. The Meta Quest 3 uses two 2064 by 2208 LCD displays. And thanks to that LCD tech, they're terrible at showing deep blacks. That means for things like watching a movie or playing a game with dark scenes, you get a subpar experience. The Vision Pro, on the other hand, uses two 3660 by 3200 micro OLED displays. They're just gorgeous. Forget the screen door effect, that doesn't exist in the Vision Pro. And you finally get inky black displays, which means watching a movie is viable. I pulled up Disney Plus and finally found the headset that could rival my 80-inch TV and my 120-inch projector setup. For what matters most, the eye displays, the Vision Pro puts the Meta Quest 3 to complete shame. So far, the Vision Pro far outstrips the Meta Quest 3 in productivity areas. Except for one spot, but we'll get back to that in just a second, so stick around to find out why. When you want to get going and get things done, the Vision Pro does a better job than the Quest 3, and that's down to a couple of hardware choices and one software advantage. When you put the Vision Pro on, it can automatically scan the room, no need to set up any sort of guardian at all, and then scan your eyes and adjust the displays to match how far apart your pupils are. And if that ever seems wrong, you can hold a button for 5 seconds to fix it. It's worth mentioning that the Oculus Quest Pro can adjust PID automatically and had some eye tracking to track your mouth, but not for interacting with the interface. And it also can't do the next thing, which is scan your eyes as a form of face unlock. You can unlock the Vision Pro and even pay for apps with just your eyes. No PIN needed. And the Vision Pro has access to thousands of iPad apps, along with at least 600 native apps. That means I have one password on my Vision Pro, and I don't have to worry about typing passwords in anymore. I can get to Word, PowerPoint, and more, along with the ability to extend a max display and give it a giant virtual display. But that leads us to an area where the Meta Quest is better. Compatibility. If you own a Vision Pro, I hope you're all in on Apple, because while it can work with your Mac and your iPhone, it cannot work with your Android or your PC. Let's set aside Facebook Messenger. Facebook owns Meta Quest, so they want to keep that on there out of a clear bias. But while mirroring your Mac display on your Vision Pro is great, it'd be nice if you could mirror your PC, right? The Meta Quest can do that and supports pass-through so you can see your keyboard. The Vision Pro doesn't. Well, not exactly, at least not natively. The good news is I found a workaround and got PC mirroring to work in my Vision Pro. It's not as good as the Mac version, but it works. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see the video I'll be releasing that shows you how. And finally, the Meta Quest 3 trumps the Vision Pro at gaming. Oh, sure, you can get to some iPad games, and there's a few surprises in there, like Hit the Island works really well to my surprise. But when it comes to true augmented reality or VR gaming, the MetaQuest is far, far ahead of the Vision Pro. There's very few native games for the Vision Pro right now, but one of the big names on both systems is Synth Riders, so I tried it out in both headsets. Do you know what I found? As expected, Synth Riders looks a lot better on the Vision Pro than it does on the Quest 3. But the Quest 3's controller tracking is far more accurate than the Vision Pro's hand tracking. And without controllers, you lose haptics, which is a really big feature in Synth Riders. From an eye perspective, the Vision Pro is more immersive, but for everything else in VR gaming, the Quest 3 wins the round. That's just a few differences between the Apple Vision Pro and the Meta Quest 3. I'm working on a full review of the Vision Pro and we'll release that in the next few days. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see that and other reviews. And while you're at it, why not check out this review of smart glasses with ChatGPT built in? I actually think you should consider buying them, though not for the reason you think. Until next time, bye!